Welcome back to the Real Listeners, ladies and gents. Oh boy, it's another beautiful day in the neighborhood, and that, of course, means it's time to talk some shit about gaming, the thing we'd all hate if we didn't love it so much. I'm, of course, your illustrious host, Shanghai Pete, high-tech lowlife, and the People's Champion. We've got quite a bit to get into today, so we best be getting deep inside right away. We begin, as we often do, with a quick recap of the week, and perhaps not surprisingly, few have found it in their hearts to really get past the whole Rockstar ripped off millions of their customers on purpose thing. And who can blame them? This is easily the worst crime perpetrated by the gaming industry against their customers since the last time a huge company ripped everybody off, which hasn't even happened since last month. Yep, that's right, it hasn't even been a month since Nintendo fucked on everyone with their struggle version of an N64 emulator that they sold for $50 fucking. Awesome. Can you pick which one is worse? Yeah, me neither. Public relations is a thing though, and technically I suppose Rockstar had to respond or say something. Fortunately for them, they didn't also have to be sincere. Their response was, of course, a predictably vacuous, yawning black hole of authenticity sloppily patched over with a handful of corporate-approved talking points that someone in comms probably promised would sound appropriate. Needless to say, they were wrong, as many people in those fields so often tend to be. Rounding out this week, we once again come upon the unadulterated clusterfuck of Activision Blizzard. Seems the captain of everyone's favorite team to hate, Big Bobby Kotick, has managed to come up with a way to make the entire situation even worse. A feat that I can't even begin to comprehend. Would you just hurry up and die already, Blizzard?
For fuck's sake, die, will you?
And moving on, our main story tonight is about how Battlefield somehow, against all odds, managed to steal the mediocrity spotlight away from Call of Duty this year. Yes, I know. Wow. After that brown-coated shit pile of brown, boring brown, I didn't think it was possible for the industry to accommodate any more mediocrity, at least this month. But once again, the godforsaken video game industry has somehow managed to surprise me, though I suppose this has escalated far beyond simple mediocrity at this point, so maybe it's not quite as bad as I thought. This is not a video where I go into all the myriad reasons Battlefield 2042 became one of the worst reviewed Steam games of all time, or exhaustingly recount all the innumerable tales of tragedy and woe experienced by customers who, once again, unfortunately made the mistake of giving a huge AAA company their money. Many other content creators have done that already, and pretty well too, I might add, so I don't feel the need to rehash it here. Besides, I don't think that's why people come to my channel. You don't need me to simply recount the facts of a situation. I'm here to tell you what the fuck it means and why it's happening. I'll link some of the better relevant videos down below if you're interested in that. Yongye did an admirable job covering this. I have next to no respect for his critical opinions on gaming matters, but I do think he typically does a good job when it comes to just collecting and stating facts, something I barely have any patience for. So no, this is not a list all the things wrong with the game video. It's not a what the fuck video, it's a why the fuck video. Why do publishers insist on these yearly installment games, and how did they manage to fuck this one up so bad? Let's start there. The answer is actually deceptively simple on its face. They fucked up by breaking the one cardinal rule for shoveling out this type of yearly garbage. Not too good, not too bad, but just mediocre enough for the people that buy it every year to tolerate, and for everyone else to not really notice either way. See, that's the goal of these games, and that's one of the reasons that they've either gotten rid of single-player campaigns completely, or on their way to phasing it out. Too good, and now you've got unwanted media attention, new fans, renewed expectations, and uncomfortable levels of scrutiny on things like microtransactions and predatory balancing that otherwise would likely have slid under the radar but are now popping up in Kotaku headlines. Yeah, that's the last thing EA wants, because it turns what otherwise would have been a simple, routine, yearly software rollout to collect fresh MAUs and siphon a little more microtransaction money into an actual game that, now they have to actively manage and deal with. Ugh. Likewise, they can't allow the game to be too bad either, because all that negative media attention might cause some of your regular users to reconsider just why exactly they do buy this game every year without really thinking about it. That's bad news for the existing customer base, because chances are, if anyone does take a moment to re-examine whether or not they're getting their money's worth out of these games every year, it'll be immediately obvious that they aren't. No, the only safe bet is to ensure each yearly installment remains firmly in mediocre territory. The install base will keep buying out of habit, media will let it coast by with a low profile yet utterly average score, and regularly scheduled profits will continue to roll in as planned. Nice and tidy, no muss, no fuss. But y'all fucked up this time, didn't ya? All you had to do was just reskin the previous year's engine and assets, tweak some numbers, maybe rig together a few new models. And you add in a handful of reused textures no one will miss, then you toss out a focus group trailer with the right colors and buzzwords to satiate the Instagram generation long enough to prevent anyone from actually wanting to really think about it. See, it sounds easy, right? At least for one of the largest corporate monolith developers ever conceived of in human history, it certainly should have been. But someone somewhere fucked up. Someone strayed from the standardized formula and template. Someone tweaked something they shouldn't have. Maybe someone made the naive error of momentarily forgetting that they weren't making a game but a software product. However it happened, the unthinkable is now occurring. Too many people are actually paying attention to this year's Battlefield. And no good can come of people paying attention to something that's made to be mostly ignored. The illusion these games are crafted to display doesn't hold up very long under scrutiny from the wrong people. To anyone that's not an active fan of Call of Duty or Battlefield, from a distance they look just like any other sterile AAA cynical MAU farming game. But up close, that deception falls apart rather quickly. The only people who know the full extent of how threadbare and shallow these games are the ones who don't really care and won't notice. These fans have been buying the yearly entries as purely a matter of course for so long, it's basically habit at this point, and they've forgotten that disliking them or even not buying them is even an option. If you ever were into these games at some point and tried to get some of your friends to play them with you that don't usually play them, you know exactly what I mean. You're like, yo, come over and play zombies with me, and everybody comes over, you start busting it down, and after like 10 minutes, you got people looking at you like, gee, like what the fuck is this? The original Black Ops was a particularly trying time for a lot of us, I think. Anyway, the success of this particular flavor of EA's low-effort yearly installment business model, it hinges on avoiding the spotlight. And now that they've fucked up, I imagine many people are a little shocked at just how many rough edges, cut corners, and shortcuts they've been able to keep hidden, but are now so uncomfortably on display for all to see. Yes, this is what people have been buying every year. This. Pretty easy to understand why they always try to sweep this shit under the rug every year, huh? This, friends, is a great example of how much actual effort goes into a game when the publisher is confident that their audience will buy it no matter what. AAA developers will never do anything unless they think they have to. This includes things like making a game fun, engaging, unique, or even at the very least stable with no major bugs. These are things of the past, relics of a time when games were guided by, basic ideas like fun. It was a truly primitive age when trivialities like design were still foolishly handled by actual humans, and we had yet to realize that we could just replace them entirely with the number-crunching juggernaut of mass data harvesting and algorithmic optimization, and then we'd actually even be making more money. You see, the numbers indicated that Battlefield could be set on autopilot, essentially, and would continue to maintain acceptable profits. So that's what they did. And, I mean, who could really blame them? Seems to have been working just fine so far. Corporations gone to corporation, capitalism gone to capitalism, after all. Until now, that is. Until somebody fucked up. Till they went a little too hands-off, and now what should have been nothing more than a routine yearly cash grab stamped down on the assembly line to then fade quietly away beneath the bland guise of a 7 or something, is instead now receiving far more attention than it was ever designed to withstand. So it should come as no surprise to anyone that, naturally, it devolved into a complete shit show. Awesome. That's because most people are fucking idiots who somehow have maintained the ability to be surprised by this type of behavior from a major publisher. So, no, they didn't really test this. No, they didn't really care. No, they didn't give a fuck if you liked it, and fuck no, they didn't give a shit if it was fun. And that is precisely how much they cared last year, the year before that, and the year before that. They simply pushed a little bit too far this time, broke a bit too many things, and now they're in trouble. To be clear, they do not view this as some massive fuck up. They view it as just, oops, we pushed a little bit too far in the wrong direction. Internally, they would be panicking exactly this much if the game was this much better than expected instead of this much worse. When you get down to the numbers, it's all the fucking same. And trust, that's all they fucking care about. The numbers. Nothing else. Certainly not you. It's like I've been saying, make no mistake, this is the kind of world we're living in now, gentlemen. A world where the largest, most powerful, and wealthy game developers can't even be relied upon to consistently achieve mediocrity. They've become so completely drunk on greed and egomania that they can't even be bothered to lie convincingly anymore. Not about their motivations or their conduct or even their increasingly flagrant attempts to scam customers with low-effort installment-based releases. That's how confident they are. They're now ostensibly not even bothering to cover up just how low effort and thoughtless most of their games are. They are that sure that everyone will continue to buy them. And if you doubt that, just take a look over at Rockstar. Just this month, we've already been forced to endure the GTA trilogy. For fuck's sake, they only just barely finished with their sterile and staggering display of insincerity that they're calling an apology, despite that not being what the word apology means. Polygon's not even done generating headlines from it yet, and already we now have this to deal with as well. Kinda makes you long for the good old days where a game was either just shit or it wasn't, play it or pass. But that's not how we do things anymore. The industry has grown and its methods are no longer so crude. They've evolved and created new, better methods. Not to entertain you or provide more value for your money though, no. They've devoted their resources to innovating more efficient and less costly ways to scam and manipulate you, and the latest Battlefield and Call of Duty releases are just another great example. Now, when a game that's universally scorned and labeled a critical failure at launch, that's not the end. Oh no! Have you heard about the roadmap? It's the latest innovation that allows games to continue asking you for money even after they flop and have been labeled a failure. With a roadmap, now that incredible game you were so relentlessly promised over and over can still be a reality, forever waiting just around the corner from that next big patch in the roadmap. And while you're waiting, you might as well just go ahead and grab the base version. That way you can ensure you remain subscribed so you can buy the new DLC and pay for the new patch along with whatever else they decide to sell you while you wait for the supposed fixed version of the original to eventually manifest. We've got a whole bunch of major fixes coming out with the next big patch. It's right around the corner, we swear. Oh, but now we've actually had to delay it a little bit. No, don't worry though, it's still coming, still coming. Well, I mean, of course we had to push back the entire roadmap too, but no, we promise we'll fix it, we promise. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's why these publishers no longer seem to have any compunction about putting out straight garbage. It's because the release no longer the end of the story now. Every single game apparently needs its own narrative now. That's because whether or not the game itself is any good barely matters. The narrative they can weave around it and all the microtransactions and DLC they can sell you while they do it is far more important. A game never even has to be finished anymore. There's no motivation to finish them. At least not while it can still be used to sell you things. In fact, I'd bet that most AAA games that flop in 2021 probably vastly out-earned something considered a smash hit 10 or 15 years ago. I mean, because of course back then you couldn't just gaslight customers into believing that a shitty GameCube game would miraculously become an awesome one eventually if you just wait long enough. Fortunately, ours is a far more modern, civilized era where inconvenient trivialities need not prevent the vaunted gaming industry from asking people to believe exactly that whenever they push things just a little bit too far and the peasants start acting up. Yes, we may have knowingly sold you a shit game, but it's all good, chill, don't be mad, don't worry. We will also sell you the really good version. Eventually. After all, why else would we have this roadmap? Now, they may not always use the term roadmap outright, of course, but every game that's garbage at release is presumably using this plan. That's all Battlefield, Call of Duty, and games like them are anymore. Just another low-effort, low-cost way for the industry to bludgeon a couple extra dollars out of you as often as you let them. Just a smash and grab that happens like clockwork same time every year. Sadly, as is becoming more and more common, once again, the truth is they did all this on purpose. Whenever you see a game that's so obviously bad that it makes you think it's intentional, just remember, that's because it fucking is. These games are as bad as they are on purpose. They're just hoping no one will notice. Hence why it's such a clusterfuck whenever people do. Oops! Oh yeah, revel, rejoice, and rapture, everybody. That's our show. Thank you so much for watching. We love you today. We love you all the way. I don't know what else I can continue to say about this or how long I can continue saying shit like this. They do this on purpose. This industry makes so much fucking money now that not a single thing is not relentlessly analyzed for all possible risks. You think that companies that are worth billions and billions of dollars will just, allow a game that's a complete fucking mess to come out? That somehow was just an accident? Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't know it was just total shit. No, of course they fucking knew that. They calculated the fucking risk, and their calculations came out to show that they would still make an acceptable amount of money if they put this out, and that it would cost too much money to go back and fix it. It's just like that Fight Club clip I showed y'all at the end of the episode from last week. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that every single thing that happened in this particular release was on purpose. No, obviously not. Of course, some people got lazy and fucked some shit up and ruined it a little more than they had planned on allowing it to be ruined. But that's my point. It's only ruined a little more than they planned on it being ruined. That's why there's some big clusterfuck. They were shooting for mediocrity, as they do every single time, and just this time, oops, we strayed into the actually genuinely bad. They knew that, and decided to release the game anyway because they knew people would put up with it. Just like the GTA Remastered Trilogy, just like Anthem, just like so many countless other fucking games. Well, yeah, now I'm depressed. Awesome. That's the end of the episode, I guess. Go fuck yourselves, EA.
Woke up, smoke up, blunt, then I pass out. Woke up, what up, smoke up, blunt, then I'm back down.